It's time for the Chips and Salsa Show.
The only show about Latinos for Latinos. And did we mention Latinos?
It's the Latísima.
Latinos come in all flavors, shapes, and sizes. You don't have to be Latino to enjoy chips and salsa.
People love chips and salsa.
Welcome back to your Chips and Salsa show for Thursday. This is Don Jorge El Alacran, and with me I have the two MCRC candidates running on Saturday's slate. What was the slate called?
Team Truth.
Team Truth. And I have with me Diana Jones, who's running for secretary, and also Shelby Bush, who's running for second vice chair, right?
First vice chair.
First vice chair. And so, and on the phone, I have Alice Lara from New Mexico, and she has a few words to say, and then I'll introduce my two guests here. Alice, it's yours.
Hey, walking on today with you guys. So happy to be with you. Ladies, how you doing? And I'm sorry that I can't stay on the phone very long. I've actually got to go to a meeting here in Las Cruces, New Mexico. I'm a member of the Coalition of Conservatives in Action, and you guys would love this group because we do a lot of action. But I just want to mention real quick, George, you and I are talking about this, Don Jorge, that we're planning a Chips and Salsa show in New Mexico. And my good buddy Zeke Rodriguez, who's very Trump-like, you would love him, he's going to help me co-host it. So please, chipsters, chipsteras, stay tuned for further details on that. Things are real different in New Mexico. This is a very blue state, and we could have a whole show just about that. So my political heart is still in Arizona, and I still follow you guys, and I wish you well because, man, you got to keep fighting. You got to keep fighting the left in Arizona. So I'm going to toss it back to you, George, unless there's anything else that you need to ask me about.
Okay, thank you, Alice, and good luck on New Mexico connection that we're going to have, and I'm looking forward to that. And next Tuesday, I believe you'll be on the air with us, and maybe you could introduce that Zeke. What was his name? Zeke Rodriguez. Zeke
Yes.
Rodriguez. Oh, that should be interesting. Girls, do you have any questions for Alice, real quick? Nope.
No. How you doing, Alice? Just want to say hello.
Hi, Shelby. Hey there. Just missing you guys. Staying busy here in New Mexico. It's a beautiful, wonderful state. The only problem is politically it's not as wonderful as Arizona. Although, you guys, I still can't believe the state leadership. That's a bummer. But you know what? It happens. Keep fighting. That's all we can do. Here, we have very few Republicans in office, unfortunately. But like I say, that's a whole other show. But miss you guys, and I'm so happy that you guys are keeping on fighting. I am always there in spirit, and I keep following you guys. Thank you
okay.
for all you do.
Okay, thank you, Alice.
Okay, guys, I'm going to take off because I've got to take off to this meeting. And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful show, and hope to be talking to you all real soon, okay? Go on.
And I think all our chiefsteros out there miss you, Alice, so, but you'll be talking to them in the future.
Okay, love you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That was Alice from New Mexico now. Now we're going to come back to our candidates here for the MCRC. Diana Jones for secretary, and Shelby Bush is running for first vice chair. She'll be right next to the chairman, and they'll be doing a lot of work. I think she's going to be working with the PCs. I don't know, but I'm going to let her explain what they're going to be doing in their respective positions in the MCRC. The election is this Saturday, so we'll be sticking forward to that to see how it turns out. And they have a few meetings they're going to be attending the next couple of days, so they'll talk about that. Go ahead, Shelby, if you want to start. Your position will be first vice chair, and what do you guys plan to do with the committee or the slate that you have? And you want to announce the rest of the slate, please?
Absolutely. So I'm Shelby Bush. I'm running for first vice chair. Diana Jones running for secretary. Our chairman is Craig Berland. Second vice chair is Jeff Greensboro, and treasurer Lawrence Hudson.
You mean third vice chair?
Second vice chair.
So you're running for third vice chair?
I'm running for first, and he's running for second.
Oh, second,
Jeff
second,
Greensboro.
first and second,
Yes,
okay.
yes, first and second. As Team Truth, we're committed to fundraising resources for MCRC. Our resources are nowhere near what we need to rival the Democrats. I think we brought in maybe around $100,000 this last election cycle per year, and the Democrats brought in nearly $1 million. So our goal is to work towards rivaling them in finances so that we can combat the media. You know, we've got a dirty media out there, so we need to give MCRC PCs a voice in the community. We need to put out press releases. We need to educate the community and the legislators about what it is we stand for and what our platform is. So that's something I'm very passionate about. We are also very big on election integrity. As you know, George, I've been at the forefront of that election integrity fight. So we will use the voice and platform of MCRC to work towards one day, one vote, and absolutely need to clean up our voter rolls. So that's a very important thing. We also want to develop task forces, on-the-ground task forces that can go into legislative districts and be boots on the ground with the PCs to walk them through door knocking, recruitment, and PC fulfillment. You know, we've kind of got stuck in the days of PowerPoint presentations and training, but there's nothing like really getting people motivated by putting them in the field and really engaging with them. So,
wow. And secretary, secretary just a secretary, right? And you've been a good secretary for the LD because, full disclosure, I'm in the same LD as Shelby and Diana, so I've seen Diana work tirelessly doing secretary. Actually, she does secretary treasurer, and she's very good at it. And coming into MCRC, she would be very good as a secretary. I can vouch for that. So, what would you see any changes coming up or?
I don't know. Most people on your show don't know me. Do you want me to give part of my bio?
Yes, please.
I'm retired from civil service after 25 years. Air Force Reserves after 20 years. I was the first female C-5 loadmaster on the C-5 airplane in the Air Force. I got involved with the Tea Party at the very grassroots level when they opened up in 2008 over in my area in Southern California. When I moved here, I became a PC in 2016. I worked the primary and general elections at my precinct that year. 2018, I was hired down at the recorder's office in the voter registration section for 5 months temporary hire. After the election, they sent us down to MECTEC to do signature verifications. And when you have a room of over 30 temporary hires with very little training on how to double-check signatures, and they're being paid minimum wage, that's a total waste of money. We need to get away from the mail-in ballots or find a better way to at least identify people without having to verify signatures at that expense.
I've seen a lot of that, the verification, and I'm not really satisfied with that, the way they do it.
Yeah.
Have you heard about our audit that we're doing?
No.
Okay, so the Senate has actually authorized We the People AZ Alliance, which, as you know, I'm the chairman of as well. And they've authorized us to review all the 2020 ballot signature envelopes and compare them to the voter registration forms. So we're essentially recreating that process, and Diana has helped with that. She's come in and worked on it, and we've got about 12% that are so mismatched. There's no way a chimpanzee would know it. Yeah,
I've seen them do that when they come in to vote, and they haven't signed their envelope yet. So you need to sign the envelope. Okay, so just scribble it. You know that's not their signature, but nobody's going to check.
right. Yeah, it's obvious.
Yeah.
So,
And they go a lot by signature verification. That's their main key, is signature verification on the envelope. The signature, you have to sign the envelope.
absolutely. I mean, so in the Kerry Lake trial, we're helping with the investigative and research component of the Kerry Lake trials, and every time we'd say, well, chain of custody was broken and we don't know where these ballots came from. And we have all of these different things. Well, you did this wrong. You did this wrong. They always lean back on, yeah, but we have signature verification as our fail safe. No, you don't. When that is your last line of defense and it is so miserable, how do you trust it?
I remember when I was a troubleshooter for Helen Purcell's, there was a paper trail. They had the Insight machine. The ballot would go in. There was no mail-in ballots. And it was so... you could actually trace the paper trail from the ballot box all the way. I mean, there was never a question on the chain of custody. Helen had it done so good. It's just when they came up with these new side books and the mail-in ballots, things just got really hairy in the last few elections that I've done, and it just gets worse. Every election it gets worse. I was there for the tabulators. I had to clean the tabulators in my precincts, and I was tasked to do that as a troubleshooter. And it's just, I see every year it gets worse, and that's bad. I mean, it needs changes. Changes need, and I'm hoping that you guys at the MCRC will push for those changes, because the MCRC chairman is the one that goes down and verifies the voting machines. I don't know if it's just the chairman or if it's the chairman and vice chairman. I know that they have to be represented there, as well as the Democrats have to have their chairman there, and you verify the machines, they show you everything, and why the problems don't come up at that time. I don't understand. 'Cause by the time I get involved, it's been already approved by both the chairman.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's why MCRC is so important, and why voting for Team Truth and an election integrity slate is so important, because we have thousands of PCs, right? We have over 3,000 PCs in Maricopa County. Yep. We should at least double that by 2024. And those voices are how we're going to get effective change. People say, well, most of the change comes through the legislation. It's going to move to the top, and Katie Hobbs is going to veto it. So does that mean we just roll over for 2 years and not fight for what we need?
No, we have to
and
fight
for fair elections? We still have to fight for it, right? And there are a lot of things we can do, ways we can use our voice, use the media, and if we have to, use the court system to get effective and real change. And really, we need to clean up them voter rolls.
When I went in the Air Force Reserves, I took an oath to support and defend the Constitution. Well, right now, with this early voting, we are not following the Constitution. The Constitution gives us 1 day to vote. It's the first Tuesday after the first Monday. Now, the states get to set up how we run the elections, but there's nowhere in the Constitution that says we can extend the voting day out further.
That 27 days came after Purcell left, when Adrian Fontes, who's now the is he Secretary of State now?
So this is all this early voting is totally illegal and against the U.S. Constitution.
Yeah, so we need more Republicans in there as poll workers. Poll watchers, we always have enough. We just need more poll workers, and that I'm willing to come before the MCRC and make a statement about what I saw and what I see, and what MCRC can do to increase the voter volunteer. There won't be volunteers, there'll be poll workers, and they can be poll watchers at the same time, because if you're a worker, you're a watcher.
Absolutely. No, I think that'd be terrific, and if our slate is elected, we would definitely welcome that.
Yeah, because I've got assurances from the person that hires the workers, Democrats and Republicans, that he will look, if we give him a list of 400 people, he would hire them immediately for the 24 election. So he's on board with that. I know what we do is we get about 800 to, I don't know, almost 900 poll observers, and so they have 2 shifts all the time. And at all the polling places that I work at, there's always more Republican poll watchers than we have Democrats. So the Democrats are working in the polls. We have maybe one Republican that's working at each poll, and that's because they're the person that hires, their hands are tied. They have to go by the people that they reach out to and call, and people that call in, they're all Democrats and a few Republicans. Yeah.
When I registered to vote, I put a check mark down at the bottom of that piece of paper that said I want to volunteer to work at the polls. The only year I got called up to volunteer was in 2016. They haven't called me for the last elections to volunteer to work in the polls at all.
Yeah, see, I've been assured that if we give them a list, because I know the people, that they will hire the 400 that we give them.
Well, here's another question for you on that. As Diana said, I mean, we don't have election day anymore. We have a full election season.
Right.
And so it's very difficult to get people who have full-time jobs. I know personally, as somebody who ran a department at the Arizona Senate audit in 2021, people took 2 weeks vacation to come down and volunteer their time. 1 week here, 2 weeks there. They were able to come in on weekends, and we could utilize them. They've made the requirement so stringent that people who are employed have a difficult time working at the polls. What do you think the odds are, George, that we could talk with these people and maybe find a way to make those shifts shorter and allow people to come in and work in a more part-time basis versus a whole month of 12-hour shifts?
Well, you have the 27 days, and those are 8 to 5, not including Saturdays. Saturdays fall in the last weekend of right before the election. But usually it's Monday through Friday, 27 days, and it's only maybe 17 sites where it's 27 days. The next one is 12 days into the election, and that is 7 to 5, Monday through Friday, and including the Saturday, because this is 12 days before the election. Then you have the 1 day before. These are people that are hired to work at the polls. And then you have the 1 day before and the day of the election. 2 days before, and then 1 day, the day of the election. Then they hire a whole slew of people to work 6 in the morning until 7 at night. So it can be done, and I think it just has to be explained to the people the proper way, because a lot of people think, oh no, I have to work 27 days straight. No, you don't. You can work 12 days into the election, or 2 days before the election, or the day of the election. So they have like four different categories. The hardest one is the 27 days, because you have to commit to 27 days, but it's Monday through Friday, and that is from 8 to 5.
And that's to work at the poll, not to work at MTech, right? Those hours are a bit longer.
MTech is something else.
Right.
This is working at the polls. I would concentrate myself getting people to work at the polls. MTech, it's just a whole different ball game. And that you have to.
But the 27 days is where the problem comes in. People can't take that much time from their normal jobs.
Well, that's true. That's where they would have to make a commitment for the next 7 days or 21 days or 27 days to work the polls. And yes, it's a commitment. But you only have 17 sites. The biggest amount of sites, 37 more that open up, 12 days before the election. And so that's, you're just volunteering to work 12 days, which is a week and a half or 2 weeks probably, almost 2 weeks. And then the last one is the day of the election, the day before the election. That's when they bring in 100 different sites that open up. So, yeah, it can be done. It scares people sometimes when you say 27 days. But only 27 days, you're talking 17 sites.
Yeah. But if we get back to the 1 day, election day, then we don't have to pay all those workers all that money for all that time.
And I agree
and
with
it would save the county buku bucks.
And they won't do that, because they're going to want to do that 27 days.
But it's against the Constitution.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong here, George, but I got reports from other people that worked at the polls that said there were more workers at the polls than we had voters today. There were some sites that only had 3 or 4 voters come in all day long. So we're paying thousands upon thousands of dollars, not to mention the fact that it's against the Constitution.
Right, 27 days.
Yes, a massive,
you'll be there
massive tax.
a whole week, and you might see one person comes in and votes, another person just comes in and drops an envelope. And that's all you see all day long. It's so boring, actually. It's, yeah, you're right. And that it's a waste of money. 27 days is a waste of money. Maybe 20 days would be maybe better, or even 15 days.
Or how about this? One day, one vote.
One day, one vote. I like that.
One day, one
Paper
vote. That's
precinct.
Yes.
small precincts, paper ballots.
Yeah, but all the people that are involved that are getting paid for this out of county money is it's astounding. You have everybody at the MECTEC, everybody at the one in the west side. They're all working those 27 days. They're all getting paid as a salary. They look at it as a salary.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I
it's
do it. I do it
unfortunate.
for 27 days.
On top of extending.
Sorry, George. We're going to fire you.
I know. Hey,
Amen,
I've
Diana.
done that enough.
Yes.
I've done it enough times, so yeah, I don't mind.
Yes, we definitely need to do that. We just are opening doors for more and more fraud to come into those windows. I mean, 27 days, it's much harder to do all the cheating you need to do in one day. And, when you've got, right now we've got a mail-in ballot system that is just corrupt, terrible voter rolls. That's another thing we want to do as Team Truth is we want to make the data truly usable and owned by the county so that the county Republican committee, so that PCs and LDs can use the data, utilize it the way that they need to for voter integrity, for getting out the vote and recruiting PCs. So that's something we're really passionate about. We shouldn't have to fight for our data.
Yeah.
And
I was curing votes after the election, and I went to one address trying to check on an individual. They voted from an address they hadn't lived at in over 5 years.
I believe it. I mean, it's not unverifiable.
It's
Yeah, well, you can't verify it.
yeah.
And the only way to fix it is to fix the whole system.
Yeah. The whole system needs dismantled and rebuilt. And so Diana says, we're going to fire you for this 27 days of polling, but maybe we can get the county to hire you to clean up our voter rolls.
Oh yeah,
because we absolutely have to do that.
and we need a county recorder that really represents the people.
Yes.
Okay, the election is on Saturday. You want to mention again the 5 candidates, and also if they want to reach you between now and Saturday, how they can reach you.
Sure. So if you want to reach us, you can email us at mcrc2023@protonmail.com. You can visit our website, which is mcrc2023.com. And Diana, would you like to name our wonderful candidates for Team Truth?
We have Craig Berland running for chairman, Shelby Bush running for first vice chair, Jeff Greenspan running for second vice chair, Lawrence Hudson running for treasurer, and I'm Diana Jones running for secretary.
And Greg has experience since he's running for chairman.
So Craig was actually the CEO of an aerospace manufacturing company, thousands of employees. He worked as CEO and management in Boeing and some of the other really large aerospace. He's a pilot, so he definitely has the managerial experience, the heart for it, and he's a good Christian man. So we'd be honored for your vote for Team Truth on Saturday.
Has he been you said he was an MCRC?
He's currently a member at large on the
member
MCRC.
At large. Okay, a
Yes,
member
sir.
at large.
Yeah.
Okay, so thanks again for coming on the show, and good luck on your elections on Saturday. And this is live on Facebook, so all you chipters, I hope you will go out and vote on Saturday for Team Truth. And the other team is what's the name?
Arizona First.
Arizona First. So,
Can I make a distinction real quick?
Yes.
Our team has individuals that have already invested their own private funds, some of them up to 6 figures, and they have been boots on the ground already for 18 to 24 months. Wow. So this is what our team consists of.
I mean, if you put your own money behind something, it's because you believe in it.
Do you want somebody that's got skin in the game and willing to invest their money and their time?
Oh, and let me mention, we are endorsed by Carrie Lake, Wendy Rogers, Sonny Borelli, Mike Lindell, Liz Harris. I mean, every election integrity giant that's been fighting in Arizona or nationally is behind Team Truth because they know we are not going to stop until we get election integrity.
So that should tell you, people, chipsters, go out, vote on Saturday if you're a PC, if you're a state committeeman. If you're a PC, Maricopa County PC, go ahead and vote on Saturday. What's the address?
It is at Dream City Church, and I don't know the exact address. Do you, Diana?
It's on Cave Creek Road, somewhere around 130th.
So a lot of people got the letter. A lot of PCs got the letter. It's a mandatory meeting for MCRC for the Maricopa County elections. So be there. It starts at the call is at
9
8
o'clock.
Yeah.
9 o'clock.
And they
Doors
register
open at 9 for credentialing, and promptly roll call is taken at 10.
At 10. The roll call is at 10. So be there and experience the MCRC election, and hope to see you guys there because I'll be there. So I hope to see all of you there. Again, thank you for listening to the Chips and Salsa show. We'll be back again Tuesday with our state candidates that are going to come on. One or two will be on our Tuesday show. And we will have you guys back in the future to tell us how you're progressing, if should you win the ticket, and what your message to the PCs are, because we're going to have to try to get PCs to come here, chairmen to come here and talk to their own PCs and try to get out their PCs to work, and how you guys, we'll do this on a regular basis, so that to get you guys to speak to your PCs via the social media.
Keep us accountable.
Wonderful. Yes, hold us accountable and tell us what the needs are.
Yes.
We're not here to tell the PCs what to do.
Yes.
It's the other way around.
Thank you, and we'll see you again. Don Jorge signing off.